Yo, what's up? It's DNA for sure. And this video is about what to do before you get therapy or seek any kind of professional help. What to do. Now, before I was able to get therapy and when I was waiting on a doctor to assist me, my mother, and even during the psychiatric evaluation, because you have to get that evaluation, you have to get that a lot of the times before you start therapy. And I heard this continuously because I tried to seek therapy two or three more times after that, and I had to go through this while I was in school because apparently in fucking Illinois, you can't get you can't get health insurance if you're a full-time student unless you work at least 20 hours a week, which is some bullshit. But I went through this. My mother told me these things. Well, she didn't say these things how I'm going to give them to you. But her and doctors have told me that I need to find a way to help myself while in the process of waiting for therapy and waiting to start treatment and sessions. Now, the first one is learn how to develop your intuition. There's many things you can do for this. You can roll dice and listen to that little voice in your mind and your body and try to guess whether it's even or odd. Try to guess, and when you get good at that, try to not guess, listen to what your body and listen to what the dice are telling you. Um, Flip a coin, heads or tails. There's a 50-50 chance, but that will help you at least learn how to search for that inner voice. You can get cards, try to guess whether they're even or odd, try to guess whether they're red or black, and you can go more advanced with it. The idea is not getting the correct answer. Of course, you can record your answers, but the idea is to learn how to listen, how to tune into your intuition. Everybody has it. Um, there's a lot of things you can do. You have to be creative. The next one is to do research on personality disorders, mental illnesses, and mood disorders. Now, my doctor told me when I told her that I feel like I could identify what was going on with me, she told me that that was dangerous, dangerous research depending on, because she didn't know me even at that point. That was like session two or three. She didn't she told me not to self-diagnose. She told me it was very dangerous. She didn't know me, so she didn't know if I was one of those minds that would create these situations or identify things and focus on it and make it bigger. Because what you focus on is what you get. Things that you focus on become more clear and a lot of the times closer to you, whether you want them or not. Bacardi and apple juice. The next thing, I already told you should do this, but study human behavior and psychology. That's not as dangerous. That's more of a necessity. That's something that you should know. Again, don't self diagnose yourself. Well, don't self diagnose, but learn basic human behavior, basic human nature, and at least know why you do certain things, possibly, and why other people do certain things, possibly. Again, you're not a doctor. Don't self diagnose and don't try to overanalyze everything. The next thing that I would say is to learn about your family, and I think I put that in there later. Learn about your family, hang around them, observe them, analyze them. A lot of the issues that you have come from your family or are common in your family, or it's just a part of your culture, which is another thing. Learn about your culture, learn about your ancestors. My great great grandmother, that I didn't know anything about before asking questions, we had a lot in common. And a lot of things that I was taught and exposed to came from her. and came from her ancestors and came from her past. Learn about, try to find out the mixes that you might have, because my family has a bit of different mixes. My grandmother was Asian and Spanish. They lived in Cuba and they moved to Georgia. From Georgia, they went to Michigan. Little things like that. Michigan to Ohio, Ohio to Chicago. Little things like that. And then, my family living in the south side of Chicago. Eventually, everybody was some kind of quarter, 16th, whatever, black. Things like that, and picking apart your your culture and your personal history will help you understand a lot of the things that you've been exposed to and a lot of behaviors that you exhibit. Next is learn defense mechanisms, what they are, what yours are. When I hear things that are disturbing to me, or when I see things that are really horrible, which attributes to people thinking that I'm fucking crazy, I laugh. My first girlfriend told me that she was molested as a child, and it's not like she was like, I have something to tell you, or I haven't told anybody this ever, or only a couple of people. She was just like, yeah, so I was molested as a child, as a baby, my dad, and I laughed. And it wasn't because it's funny to me, because I would have laughed right now. But it was that's just my genetic defense mechanism. That was me protecting myself so I wouldn't feel instantly depressed or be affected mood wise. It's something that I can control, but in certain situations, I know when it's appropriate to laugh and to exercise my defense mechanism. Another thing is you need to learn how to make yourself happy. There's things that I can do that no matter how depressed I feel, no matter how sad I feel, this doesn't work for anger. I have another thing for anger, but I watch pranks, stand up. Those are my two favorite things. Those are the two easiest ways to make myself laugh. And self amusement. Learn how to make yourself laugh by you saying things, by you doing goofy things. I feel like I'm a moderately goofy person, but I laugh at fucking basically everything I say. Learn how to make yourself happy in a safe way, in a healthy way, not pleasure eating, not doing drugs and drinking, not fucking cutting yourself or beating people up. But learn how to make yourself happy and laugh, and learn what is going to inevitably make you laugh and happier. The next one is pretty deep. If you're going for a total transformation, you want to totally recreate yourself, rename yourself, learn what that name means first, and recreate yourself with that name. If you want to be the sun, you could tell people to call you Ra now, or Sol, or Solomon, whatever it is. You're a female, and you want to be more like the moon and affect people how the moon does. You could tell people to call you Luna or Isis. Rename yourself, because that name, that's a little bit more deep, but that name is going to give you energies just by you focusing on it and other people focusing on it. I didn't even make it through half of these. The next one is don't over obsess. Don't obsess at all, but don't focus on the fact that you're fucked up and you're so crazy and your social skills are so shitty and that you just want to fucking not be here and be a whole different person. Don't over obsess on whatever the issues are. Just know that you're constantly growing. Don't focus on it too much because you're going to attract it more. Focus on the positive. Don't become a self-help junkie. But just remember that you're learning, you're growing, and that's what it's all about. The next one is, I already said don't self-diagnose, but identify your issues. Don't label yourself depressed if you don't. If a professional didn't tell you, don't label yourself depressed. And if you are to do that, there's ways that you can deal with that yourself, because a lot of, if you have a self-help coach, I mean a life coach, if you have a life coach, they're going to give you the tips. Therapists and psychologists, I mean psychiatrists and psychologists, they're not going to tell you, look, you're fucking up, you need to do this, your life's shitty. They're going to guide you to yourself making these changes and these conclusions. The next one is stop all drug usage. Quit cigarettes, weed, drugs, alcohol at all costs. If you cannot get in rehab, if you don't have access to be able to get professional mental help, then you're not going to be able to go to rehab. But stop those drugs if you can. If you think that you can just stop and you don't have to go to rehab, do it. If you know that you can, do it. You don't have any place for drugs in your life if you feel like you need professional help. Next one is exercise. That makes everything better. It's not going to cure everything. It's not going to cure anything. But it's going to make, no, in the worst situation, it's still going to make everything in your life at least 10% better. And even that little 10% it could snowball and fucking change everything. It's going to change everything, but that 10% can mean a lot at the end of the day. I don't know what that means. It says do love. Oh, do things that you love in your life. Whatever, when you are done working and you are done relaxing, do what you love. If it's healthy. Music, writing, it could be exercising. It could be fucking do what you love. That's just as important as exercising, if not more. Next one is learn about how people deal with what you deal with. Learn about people who have the same issues as you. Like I said with the whole family thing. Learn about the successes of people dealing what you're dealing with, or who have dealt what you dealt with, and the failures that they've experienced dealing with what you've dealt with. Study how they succeeded and failed. Study success and failure, because a lot of successful people and people who were not successful have dealt with what you're dealing with. What's the dude's name? Fucking Miracle. Whatever Hands. The first black American heart surgeon. He had anger issues. Napoleon. If you have issues with your body, you can study him. His successes and his downfall. Then the last one is face your fears, overcome your fears, and work on doing something to eliminate those fears. One thing that I was really fearful of in my whole life, I prided myself on not being afraid of thunderstorms and lightning in particular, not thunder, but the lightning. I was walking through the park with a lot of fucking trees, very woodsy area. I knew that's the most dangerous place that you can be in a lightning storm, thunderstorm. I thought my homeboy got struck by lightning. The lightning struck a tree that was about 30 feet ahead of us, and I felt the electricity in the ground. I instantly dropped. I heard it. It was loud as fuck. It was like fucking 3 gunshots going off really close to my face. I felt the rumble of the earth. I saw my homeboy to the right of me drop. I thought he fucking died. And I was terrified of lightning. I wouldn't even go outside if I thought it was gonna thunder and lightning. And I got over that. I don't want to really tell you how I got over it. Well, I'm gonna tell you. I got over that because I got high as fuck one day, and I was locked out of my house, and there was a fucking thunderstorm, and that shit was close as fuck. And in Georgia, their fucking thunderstorms are extreme as fuck for like 20 minutes, and then it passes, and it doesn't fucking rain for another 3 hours. But I was extra paranoid, extra fucking scared, and I eventually got over it. The weed made it worse. But anyway, yes, DNA for sure do that. Peace.